So 2022 for us was another year of amazing growth and connections across our region, and we saw it in so many ways. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. And through the continued growth of the foundation, it is just so clear that every community in the region has a beautiful commonality that ties us together, and that is our heart of giving. It's easily felt in our communities across the region, communities served by our 5 geographic affiliates: Berwick, Bloomsburg, Danville, Selinsgrove, and Sunbury, and then all of the communities in between. And that was one of the reasons we wanted everybody to enter where you're joining us from this morning, just so that you can see all of the towns and communities throughout our 5.5 county service area that our Community Giving Foundation is connecting with. We are doing philanthropic work in all of those areas across our footprint, and the relationships that we are building just continue to grow and strengthen the work that we're doing with our nonprofits throughout. So it is definitely, that is what we see tying us all together, is that heart of giving. You can see it in our growth of funds. We have 300 plus funds, more than 20 new funds last year, and donations continue to grow. And what's wonderful to see in the work that we do at the Community Foundation is how we invest in our endowment funds to see the work that they're doing through in perpetuity. So the way that we do that is knowing that we want those funds to be here forever, and that our nonprofits can continue to benefit from the grants that they're receiving from all of those funds, and the scholarships that we give out from all of those funds year after year. And it's through the partnerships that we have with our nonprofits that is, just making the impact of all of our donors' work that much greater. Our ongoing commitment to carrying out your charitable giving, please know that one big piece of that is the work that we do with best practices for how a community foundation should operate. Our national accreditation we just received last year, at the end of last year, and it's a very rigorous process that we go through to make sure that the 8 of us here, that we are following best practices and standards, following the Community Foundation model, so that we can do the best work possible with for all of our donors and the donations that we receive. Strengthening our relationships with our nonprofit partners and helping to build their professional capacity is why we expanded our nonprofit leadership series last year. This is a program that offers nonprofit staff educational opportunities on leadership, communication, and professional development. Another regional program that we love to talk about and people love to hear about because it makes everybody smile is our Youth and Philanthropy program. It's because of the positive connections we're making with that program with local high school students and connecting them with people in the community. It is having a profound influence with these students to experience their community through giving, learning about needs, and awarding grants. Currently, we have 13 local school districts participating in Youth and Philanthropy. And of course, our goal is to have all of our school districts across all of these regions and towns you're seeing today participate in this program. All 8 of our staff at the foundation, Katie, who helped put together today, Christine, Kim, Shelley, Al, Carrie, Eric, and myself, we are all at the foundation. We are guiding our programs and investments and the services that we provide through our main values, and they include stewardship, community, helping others, education, trust, and integrity. We held tight to these values and we continue to, but especially during 2022, when we took on the complexities of a year filled with transitions. Those challenges that we went through, we turned them into a renewed excitement for stewarding the personal relationships we have with everybody involved with community giving. We have so many board members joining in on our call this morning, 60 plus volunteer board members across our region who we work with every single day. We give thanks to you for believing in our mission and helping make our connections that much stronger. And now our Community Giving Foundation board chair, who really is to me an all-star when it comes to regional connections and engagement and collaboration, Dr. John Karelja, the Executive Director of the Central Susquehanna Intermediate Unit. John.
Good morning, folks. How are you today? I know that you can't all chime in and speak at the same time, but it is so helpful when we can see your face and we can kind of react to the things that we're saying. So I just wanted to welcome you to our meeting today and to let you know that we are blessed to do what we do, each and every one of us. And in terms of my role, I'm here to kind of give a couple opening comments and then turn it over to Caz Russell, who's going to give you a message about leaving a legacy. But the first thing I want to do is to thank Karen and her team. They all have hearts of gold and are doing nothing but trying to grow our community and make a difference. And that is a special thing, and certainly why I love serving as the chair for the Community Giving Foundation. And I hope you guys all see that too. The next thing I wanted to do is just a brief couple comments about the why. Many of you will have heard of a guy by the name of Simon Sinek, and he always talks about this idea of why. Why do we do what we do? And I ask you to think about that. But before I'd ask you to share or to really come forward, I wanted to share a little bit about mine. It's not easy work, what we're doing. I look at the people that are here with us today, and they come from nonprofits and school districts and higher ed and people all over our community who are doing unbelievably difficult work. And when you're doing that kind of work, you have to stay true to who you are and remember where you came from. So in my path, I want to share what I think is kind of a fun image and with a little bit of an explanation. So if Katie, if you could share that slide I gave to you, I'd appreciate it. When she's getting that ready, what I would tell you is that I don't see it yet. Katie, can everybody else see it? Okay. Anyway, the picture that we're trying to get to is about my why. And my why is not about programs, and it's not about a place I went. My whys all go back to people. And some of you know my story, and my story has to do with being the youngest of 10 kids, which is an unbelievable blessing, but lost my father when I was 3 and really was adrift. I got in trouble with the police when I was a kid. I did lots of things where I could have went in the wrong direction. But something happened. Someone came into my life, and his name is Kenny Garabadian. And he was my wrestling coach. And at some point, if we get the picture up, I could share you a little bit about who he is. But he called me to come out for the sport of wrestling when I was just young. And he became like a surrogate dad to me. And I got to know him and work with him for a number of years as my coach and then as my friend. And the picture that I was hoping to share with you, which maybe Katie's going to get it there, shows this larger than life character. Now that man that you're looking at is about 300 pounds. And he's about 5'8", and he's on his head on a wrestling mat. He was an incredible person and who saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And he was the only person that I ever came across who called me Johnny. He said, Johnny, I know you can do it. And his belief in me helped me to see some things in myself that I never could have seen otherwise. And the picture on the right there is a picture of him at his roast that we did for him before he passed away of cancer in 2006. And I got the opportunity to introduce him to my family. I got the chance to tell him just how much he meant to me. And that is someone that I carry with me no matter what I do. And there's a quote that I was thinking about that is just so meaningful for our work. It says, if you can't pay it back, pay it forward. But when I think about our work at the Community Giving Foundation, I think about the fact that we have unbelievably blessings for ourselves in terms of where we come from and what we have, but we live in communities that don't have those same blessings. The level of poverty, the level of challenges that we see in our community are not small. And it's because of the work of the nonprofits, because of the work of the schools, because of the work of people like all of you, that we can change that. So that how I did not become a statistic, how can we make that same thing possible for the students, for the people, for those that live in our community? And I think that that's the message that I think about, that when we're each in our own places, and sometimes the best we can do is give in terms of our time, in terms of helping out with the cause, and I hope we each do that. Sometimes we have certain talents that others can benefit by. Sometimes because of the station in life and where we are, we can give from our treasure, and we can make a difference by helping donate to a fund or to a charity that we believe in. Those are the things that we can do by trying to pay it forward. And that's really my message, is that if you remember, you can stop sharing that slide. If you remember where you come from and what got you there, it makes it much easier to think about how you can make a difference for those that come behind you. Because I never feel like it's a burden for those people that help me in the back, in the rear view. They're the ones that I'm using to stand on to go forward into the future. And I guess from my perspective, I just want to see us as a foundation continue to move forward to try and change and make a difference in our community. And I know we can do it. I've seen it happen. I've seen the successes that have happened and the people that have received grants and the good work that's been done by the people looking at me right now. And my hope and my wish for us as a community is that we give our full support to Kara and her team, and we find ways to give back to our community to make it stronger and better than it could ever be. Because there are individuals, people out there like me back then who need you in order to make that difference, to invest in them and to see something in them that they didn't see in themselves. And by doing that and giving in whatever way you can, we have the ability to make a difference in this community that we love. The community has been very good to me, and I'm going to do my best to give back to it. And I can only ask all of you to do the same thing. So that's just the thing I wanted to share with you before we move on. And now I get the chance to introduce Caz. I've had the chance to see Caz in action in a number of different settings through Leadership Susquehanna Valley and other presentations. He's an excellent speaker. I'm sorry that you won't be able to see his dog, because that's another favorite of mine, his work. But he's going to talk to you about leaving a legacy. And I can only ask you to give your full attention. And it's just a tidbit, but when something good happens, there's a reaction down there where you can give a heart or a like. It's really nice when you're presenting and you're doing it virtually, if you can hear from the people that you're presenting to give them some encouragement. So I encourage you to do that. And I thank you for being with us today and for all the work that you do to help us move this foundation and this community forward. So thanks very much. Turn it over to Caz.
Well, good morning, everyone. I've got a tab up said to unmute, so I will raise your hand if you can hear me. Ah, sweet. How many have met me before or have been exposed to some of my leadership principles that I strongly endorse? Okay, how many of you like to go yard sailing? Interesting how yard sales come the spring and summertime. And so my wife and I were like, we'll do that. We'll stop at yard sales, especially in Lewisburg on Wednesdays. That's big days. And my wife's a huge puzzler, meaning, yes, she puzzles me in her decisions and thoughts, but she likes to do puzzles. You know, those big 1,000, 1,500 pieces. And when we see them at yard sales, often it'll, on the top of the box, it'll say, one piece missing. And she never buys that box, even if it was free. She is not, because that would just irritate her to no end. One piece missing. Maybe after spending 2 or 3 days on the with the table and putting the pieces together. And you know, some of these scenes are so beautiful, ocean and you name it, but that one piece just really rubs her rhubarb. It's interesting that puzzles her. I would think, hey, it's $1, take it. But you know, that piece of the puzzle is so important to the complete project, to the beautiful picture. So I want to share with you a couple of things today. My wife and I have been married for 48 years consecutively, which is a big deal today, right? 48 years. And so she has taught me so much. She is 5'3", I'm 6'3". On Sundays, I like big Sunday meals, coming from a Pennsylvania Dutch background. But on Sundays, the only thing my wife likes to make is reservations. So we are about as opposite on the rainbow as we can be. And our 2 sons, we have one who's a warden and one who is a pastor. And that's both ends of the rainbows. But you know, that's what makes it work, those differences. So this morning, I wanted to share with you a little acronym on the word I roll. So repeat after me, I roll. So we're going to drop the second L, so it'd be IROL. So I often think about when I retired after 37 years in the electric industry, what am I going to do now? What is laid out for me? What are the next 5 years of my life going to look like? I want to encourage you to use the chat bar to ask me questions or make comments, because I really enjoy that and I'll be monitoring that. But when I retired, I didn't really think about what is my next 5 years. I thought maybe I'll fish and do things and relax on a lazy boy, but no, that's not my style. I hit the floor running because I had so many experiences that others needed to hear. Getting back to what John had said about that why. What is the why? What is my purpose in life? So Mark Twain tells us the 2 greatest days of every person's life is the day you're born and the day you know why. I like that saying. And I like listening to Simon Sinek also with the golden circles. But so it got me thinking, why does Caz exist? Or maybe let's put it in terms of what is Caz's purpose? And I want you to relate it to yourself as what is your purpose in life? Have you thought about it? Does Caz want to be successful? Yes. Do I want other people to be successful? Yes. Do I want the foundation to be successful? Several years ago, Holly invited me in and we started doing some workshops, and I know many of you on the board here, and I know many of you on the sheet. So thank you for being here this morning. I hope we get to talk after this. But over those last 5 years, I have changed and applied so many things to my life. And I want to share some of those things that have helped me because I needed to learn leadership. See, I thought I was a good leader. And after many years working in a power plant, I decided to take a leadership role. Boy, did I have a lot to learn about leading. And it really comes down to me. It comes down to what am I doing to grow my skills? And that's why I want to challenge you today with four letters of I roll. The first one is intentionality. Now, my father was in World War II, lived 237 days in Germany and France, lived in foxholes, showered there, ate there. And I'm thinking, he didn't really know what he was getting into. But I'm pretty sure that once there's some gunfire, you get intentional about staying alive. So intentionality so many times is something we overlook. How many of you have gone to Disney World without planning? My wife, thanks, Bree. My wife is a super planner, so she bought the book, Birnbaum's book, and me, I'm sort of a wing it kind of guy. But when I come home from a vacation like that, sometimes I like, oh, I missed this, I missed that, or I had this, or we had some aggravation. Where my wife has things intentionally planned, and it's so much more efficient. It's so much more smooth. And so I'm thinking about being a part of the foundation. And as you are all volunteers and on the board, how do we set our intentions? Like John said, what piece of the puzzle do I add to this team? And I haven't met everybody on the team there, but I will say that everyone I have met has just been, like John said, hearts of gold. And you can see it's about relationships. You can see they're happy. They have a smile. They have a drive. They have a passion. They know their purpose in life. I'm just amazed that when people start seeing value in themselves and they get to apply it to their work, to their home life, success shows up. My mentor, Jim Rohn, says, we don't seek success. We make ourselves more valuable as a person, as a human being, by giving back to the community. Then success finds us. I had it around the opposite way. I thought I had to achieve. I thought I had to go after success. Now, when Caz grows, things grow around them. When Caz changes, things change around me. And you can imagine after 48 years of marriage, how much change has had to happen. And I love the word accommodate. Sometimes in marriages, we compromise, but I love the word accommodate better, meaning, hey, I'm going to do it your way. I'm going to accept what you have to say. Don't raise my eyebrows when something comes up, like, what were you thinking? But just totally accommodate. And that really comes from team building. So Simon Sinek tells us a team is not a group of people that work together. A team is a group of people that trust each other. And I think we can all clearly see that on the foundation. Trust in one another. And trust gets built just like a marriage. So the first part of our talk here today with I roll, repeat after me, I roll, is intentionality. Growth doesn't just happen. I need to be intentional about what I want to achieve. What do I want the foundation to achieve? What do I want to see Dr. John achieve? What do I want to see Kara and Eric achieve? It's about me supporting them. And I don't have all the answers. In fact, being 37 years in a power plant, I made huge mistakes. I made left turns and I should have turned right. But I had people supporting me there saying, let's do it together. So one of the greatest philosophies in teams, or what we have today, because everybody on board here today is a team, learn to say, repeat after me, let's do it together. There's no one-man show. There's no silver bullet. There's no Lone Ranger. It takes all of us. And as confident as Caz seems, there's times I'm insecure. There's times when I doubt what I brought. What I mentioned, I have insecurities also. So we all need each other. So intentionally, I need to build the second one. The first one's is role. It's relationships. I need to intentionally build relationships. Who does Brianna know that I need to know? Katie has been helping us with the Zoom and that. And so what a fantastic resource for me to use, because I'm sitting down here in Horsham, Pennsylvania, in a hotel, and I'm depending on her to make me look good, to do all those magic buttons and bring up videos. So we all need each other, and we all have a different skill set, because we don't want a whole world of Caz Russells or others. We want uniqueness, right? So my relationships is so important. So I want to ask you as the board members, you as staff members, you who are driving down the road, what relationship do you need to build today? Who do you know that you know them, but you've never had lunch with them? You've never sat down and with intentionality and asked them questions. I've heard that a $20 lunch bill is well worth the advice you may get from someone. There's so much information out there. So it's building relationships. Now, my next question is, who does Caz know that you should know? My grandchildren come up from Allentown every 3 or 4 months, and they'll say, Pat, you know everybody. Well, in Montana, everybody knows everybody in Montana. I think there's 200 homes. But in Allentown, it's just so huge, and there's so many people they don't know. So who does Dr. John know? Who does Karen know that you need to know? These are questions of intentionality. But you see, we don't choose those unless we target them, unless we make it a point to put a sticky on our computer that says, today I'm going to build a new relationship. I'm not talking golfing or best friends. I'm talking about knowing people in areas that help me grow, that help the foundation grow. And sometimes those connections, it's a simple name. And I transfer that name over to somebody else, maybe to the Greater Susquehanna Valley Chamber, to Jenny or to Zach, and say, hey, have you met so-and-so? No, well, you need to contact them. What a great relationship when I have built with the chamber or with the foundation here, just to be able to say, have you? See, I just love questions. Now, don't get me wrong. I hate being questioned. It's my natural DNA. When somebody asks me a question, I sort of get defensive. I sort of get like, you're being in my zone, or you're doubting my skills. And I think that's DNA, and that's a huge principle that I had to learn to accept questions. And when I watch people, and when we met a couple of weeks ago at Panera Bread with part of the staff, they were asking me questions and I was asking them questions, because I really want to bring the very best information I can. I want everybody to walk away going from today with just one piece of the puzzle that says, here's what I can do for myself and for the foundation. It's those pieces of the puzzle. So it's really important for Caz to know his why in relationships and in life. So I have come about with Mark Twain's saying of the 2 best days of a person's life. It got me thinking about, what is my purpose in life? So I have developed a personal philosophy. Do you have a personal philosophy in life? Tim McGraw sings, I'll never lie, cheat, or steal. That really hit me when I heard that. And the more times I listen to that, it really emphasizes the importance of my actions around people. How do I go through the checkout line at Walmart? Am I frustrated? Am I in a hurry? Am I not courteous? Have I bought somebody their groceries that day? So there's so many different ways of giving to others, or what we call philanthropy. And we all have that heart, don't we? I got to believe everybody on this call, everybody on this Zoom today has that heart. So Caz's purpose in life is threefold. Number one is to grow to my full potential. That means to learn, be intentional, have relationships to learn. How'd you get so good at what you do? So that I can apply those. I want to grow to my full potential. And you know what? Like a seed in the ground, it doesn't stop growing. And with the snow coming down outside, it's hard to imagine. But soon we'll be planting some seeds in the ground for the spring and summer, won't we? So what seeds can you plant in your relationships? What seeds can you plant for the foundation? One little seed that makes a connection. Number one, growing to my full potential. Number two, as a leadership coach, I have made it my personal philosophy to help others grow to their full potential. That doesn't mean I can carry everybody on my back. That doesn't mean I can help everybody, but it just means that is my personal philosophy, that I will help others grow. That's pretty interesting when you get intentional. See, the letters I-R-O-L, they are all connected. First, I need to be intentional. Then I need to build relationships. The third one is taking ownership of my life. I used to think, wow, the taxes are too high and the price of gas is too high. But you know what? I need to stay in my zone. Emily Artman, who has gone through cancer, shared with me as she was going through her situation with cancer that she actually, her baby was born and came home from the hospital before she did. Wow. I can't imagine as a mother what that would feel like, because she still had to go through treatments. But it's about taking ownership of my life. It's about owning what I have. It's about getting through the past, learning from it, and moving forward. Because we can all carry tumors, we can all carry problems way too long. So I need to take ownership of my life. Lieutenant Abrashoff wrote, it's your ship. And I'll never forget that book reading, because now in high school, and I remember I read this many books. I never read a book in high school. I did every book report the night before from the inside cover, and I got B's. Why should I read? I just want to graduate and go make money. $2 an hour at Chef Boyardee. 1976, $2, raising a family of 3 on $2 an hour. That's $80 a week, 162 weeks, government takes 40, that's $120. But I needed to take ownership of my life. I soon went to the power companies and got a job. And so it was my responsibility to take care of my family. It's your responsibility to take ownership of your life. It's also our responsibility, and I take this very heavy, take ownership of helping the foundation. What can Caz do in one way? And I got to tell you, when Kara called, when Christine called, the first thing out of my mouth was, they said, would you be a speaker for us? I said, absolutely. I didn't even think about the time. I didn't think about what I had to do. I just wanted to help. And I've taken that on as a personal philosophy. Now, I'm not saying it's always best to jump in and say yes, but you know, when your heart tells you, because sometimes the heart tells you gives you a better picture than your head. So my heart and my personal policy is for helping others. So I needed to take ownership of my life. I also needed to take ownership of leaving a legacy, the L in IROL. What is Caz's legacy? It is up to me to determine that legacy. Or maybe I should say, it's up to you to determine your legacy. It's up to all of us to determine the legacy for the Community Giving Foundation. How it performs today and how it performs in the future. See, we are developing that now. I want to create more leaders. I want to create people that are successful in life. See, success is what we do for ourselves. Maybe you want a boat, a summer home, maybe a new job, a marriage, whatever you want. But when you've attained those things, now it's time to step up to the plate. Now it's time to live a life of significance. And that's where Caz is at now. I intentionally am choosing to live a life of significance, which means I'm helping others get what they want. And what in between here with Kara, Dr. John, the whole organization, Christine and Eric, they are those people that are right in the middle that are making that happen. So I do right now offer all of them at any time. Just give me a call. Just ask for some, as I call, grandfather wisdom. Sometimes those grandfather wisdoms comes out, like my grandmother taught me when I was 12. Don't be down the street, sitting under the street light with those kids, or you'll be doing what they're doing. And I'm not going to say what they were doing, but she was so true. But 60 years ago, it's the same as today. See, our leadership skills, they're out there. They've been out there. Simon Sinek presents them a certain way. John Maxwell, Caz Russell, we all do it our own way. But what's important is everybody you meet wants to be valued. And when you value people from the heart, they know it. They see it in your smile. They see it in your follow-up phone call. They see it and when you invite them for lunch and say, because I did this with one of the people that are on this call here today a couple of years ago. And the lady didn't know what I was up to. And I said, I'm not up to anything. I just want to learn how you got good at what you do. Just give me one or two pieces of the puzzle. Give me a seed that I can carry and put, that I can plant in Caz Russell's life to make a difference. Leaving that legacy. So my grandchildren who live in Northampton, I have two of them, and they were about 8 and 12. Hey, are we having fun yet? If you're having fun, say, I'm ready for more. I didn't hear you. I'm just kidding. My grandchildren are 8 and 12. Love them to death. I'm ready. I'm getting ready. I love it. Oh, thanks. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. I have till 12 o'clock, right? So anyway, they come up there. You know, when your first grandchild's born, it's like so different. How many of you have grandchildren? Oh, maybe I'm the only one. Must be. So they come up for a weekend and we get to play games. We go to the movies, we go have fun, play in the yard, whatever, you know, and pick popcorn and might tickle them. And we just, you know, but I realized that I needed to give them more. I need them to know that there's more than just having fun on the weekends. I want them to learn a life lesson. So when they leave on Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock, I came up with this great idea. Corny. That before they leave, I'm going to give them a hug in the car. My grandson's on one side of the back seat, my granddaughter's on the other side, and the dog's in the back, you know, going crazy. You know how the dog has always got to have their head between the seats. And I said, I want to teach you a lesson today. They're like, what? I said, I want to share something with you that will help you in life. Okay, what is it? I said, so my first one was pay now, play later. Because, you know, at age 10, 12, you know, you don't need big, long leadership lessons. You just need short and sweet things like I roll. So I said, pay now. What does that mean, Pap? It means put the hard work in now and enjoy and reap it later. I still don't understand, Pap. I said, get your good grades now. Put the hard work in at night. I mean, you can go out and do things with your friends, but just give yourself an hour of study time or whatever the time is. Pay now, play later. Pay now, and then go have that fun. Work all week, make some money, then go to the park. And so I thought it was a bit corny. I loved it, but they thought it was a bit corny. And they went home that day, and 3 months later, they came back, and we spent the weekend together. We got in the car. And my granddaughter, who is 9 now, says, Pap, what are you going to teach me? I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. You remembered from 3 months? See, each of us can leave that impact on everybody. In fact, everybody that you meet, you can rest assured that night at their dinner table, they're talking about you and me and how we made them feel. They're talking about you and me. So that's so important. So as we grow this foundation and we continue this foundation, we build relationships and we take ownership for the things that maybe we shouldn't have done, or maybe I made a left turn when I'm right. When we take that ownership, we grow. And when we grow, the foundation grows. Hey, I want to challenge you to think about those words, intentionality. Am I being intentional with how am I helping the foundation? How am I a part of the foundation? It could be a small seed. It could be a small piece of the puzzle, but it's so important. But building those relationships is the second one. What relationships am I building? And in today's world, look at me, I'm far from where everybody's at, but yet the internet has pulled us all together. And so we've got to think about things of, we're in our area, but there's so many tentacles. And then we got to take ownership. At the end of the day, did I do the right thing? Did I lie, cheat, or steal? Or did I help somebody by adding value to them? Now, you might say that's a little bit prideful. Not in the least, because nobody has learned in this group more than I have, from my wife's help, my grandparents' help, from teachers. We've all learned from other people. So I want to challenge you today. I want you to think about when you were 12 years old and your grandparents were 60. That was old. I'm never going to be 60. Today, I'm 69 years old, and I got a lot left in the tank. We are all counting on each other to help this foundation grow, but to help the world grow. Billy Graham says we are now in a world of neighborhoods when we really should be in a world of brotherhoods. When we add value to others, we grow, not just them. So I want to challenge you with one last statement. I hope you've had as much fun here this morning as I have. I hope you take away some nuggets. I hope you take away some seeds in the packet, seeds that will grow both in your yard and in the yards of somebody else. Build those relationships. Take ownership of what you got. Be intentional. Grow your own leadership skills. Because when I learned this, my last phrase as I bring it to a close, my life changed. The future of the foundation is not ahead of us. The future of this foundation is inside of us right now. Today, what we learn and grow and how we affect other people. People are always watching everything we do. And you and I, our purpose is making an impact to help the world. Hey, my name's Caz Russell, and I'm your friend. Anytime you want to call me, my website, just give me a call. I love to help people. Thank you so much to the foundation for having me here today. I loved being here.
And we loved having you, Caz. Thank you very, very much. And thank you to John too for sharing your story, and Caz, so many takeaways from what you shared with us today. And hopefully all of you know why, we all wanted, a lot of kudos to Christine for thinking of Caz to be our guest speaker this morning. And we first met Caz. Christine was participating in Leadership Susquehanna Valley in 2017, and then I graduated from the program in 2018, and we have learned so much from you, Caz. So thank you, and thank you for bringing it all together this morning and focusing in on what our Community Giving Foundation is all about. We have grown because of you, and just so much thanks for the kind words you mentioned about our staff. We all here do very much believe in what we do, and because of the relationships we've built with so many of you on the annual meeting this morning, you make us want to continue to be better and to grow. So thank you. We would love to connect more with you, and I have a feeling that many ideas came to our minds this morning as we listened, and ways to connect with your community through philanthropy. And I will share with you too that I looked through as people were joining in this morning, and I am extremely grateful for the foundation and the 19 years that I've been here, grateful for the relationships I have in my life because of the foundation, and many of whom are my greatest mentors. We are all learning a great deal from you. And another thing that all of us here, we love being curious and listening to other stories and where your ideas come from and where your passions come from. We love listening to those, and how we roll is, really being intentional about listening to you, listening to people in the community. And then we want to just help connect you to powerful ways for your giving in our communities. So you all have different passions, you all have different purposes, and we can really help put together your legacy when it comes to community giving. So thank you all very much for joining us again this morning. We have a lot of resources available on our website, more detail in our annual report from 2022, which you can view online as well. But again, we would just love to connect more with each of you. So hopefully we will hear from you soon. And thanks again to John and to Caz and all of our staff for putting together our annual meeting. We will see you all soon. Thank you.